Hello, and welcome to the What the What podcast. It's the podcast where we tell you what's nerdy, what's popping with culture, what's giving us all the nostalgic feels, and what's there to geek out about, past, present, and future. It's all the what's in one place. That's Kyle Whitley. I'm Ashby Brand, and back again this week, the man, the myth, the legend, Eric Creech.
Yeah!
Woo!
Woo! You!
Woo! Woo!
Yeah!
Oh my god, we're going full wrestling mode. DDT, stunner. I don't know. Oh my god, Kyle just fell off the couch. Eric might be injured.
What just happened?
It's fine, I can continue on my own. Ah! We're wrestling. We're going full wrestling.
We're back.
Okay, so that's what it feels like to be the referee in a ring. Now I know. Now I know.
We're back.
I lost a
Oh,
sock.
I thought you found the sock. No, it's mine. It fell off at some point.
Oh my goodness.
Put this back on.
I think that as far as like random interlude, like you lose it, we talk about pointless things. That was probably my favorite one. You guys really took it up.
If you let me flip the table months ago,
That might not have happened.
that's that enthusiasm.
But instead
I was
you had
on
to
board
attack.
with the table flipping. I'm saying that's type of enthusiasm. It's
Wow.
hard to do that when sitting
You
in a
got
chair.
7 whole people to watch. That's crazy.
They
We
didn't even
should
see
do-
him land on me.
We should do
I was out of the
contact
frame.
sports all the time.
Sometimes it's all in your mind, though. It's better than not.
Okay, we need to add a wrestling match to the beginning of every episode.
I'm good with that.
All right.
But once we move it here.
Yeah.
Which this is a trial run. We're not even at
Yeah,
J.
we're not.
Howell Road Studios tonight.
Right.
No.
We are at 51 Ralph Drive.
Yes.
Great. Now everybody knows where you live. We didn't say the town.
Yep.
So.
That's right.
right.
It's Princeton.
Somewhere in North Carolina.
Somewhere in North Carolina. Yes, we are doing this from the house in the living room, and we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
House that Creech built.
We
Yes,
will see.
Or bought.
Or
Sounds
the house that
good.
Creech bought.
Yes.
Circa 2011.
That's right.
Yes. So,
Okay.
cool.
Wow.
We have any random things to talk about in this episode, or we're
I
just
do.
going to get right to it? Okay,
Oh,
let's go.
Eric
Yeah.
does. I mean, Kyle does. Sorry.
Well, like
We
maybe-
have Aaron here.
we do.
Right.
We have a fan going.
Bless.
You were talking about how you have a baby Yoda in there now.
Yes.
In your, the studio room you're starting to build into a studio / cool fun hangout
Yep.
room. If like I found out today,
Correct.
Is it not cool to hang out in here?
well, it is, but like
I'm
I
getting
found
new
out-
couches once I get a new floor.
Nice. I found out today that the people that we rent from, who had talked about possibly putting our house on the market in October, which we still would have to do something different, are now showing the house to some older couple tomorrow. So
So.
I may be out of my house sooner than later,
So.
which means I may just bring a lot of my stuff here and just like my comic related stuff, and we'll decorate that whole thing. And at some point, I'll move it back somewhere else whenever I have a home.
I have 2 open bedrooms if y'all need somewhere to stay. I
I
charge
mean,
very cheap rent.
I
I'm
think
about to kick Hunter out.
Yeah, that's true. I think I'm gonna stay with my parents. Like when it comes down to it,
That's probably cheaper than me. You can split time between me and Ashley.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Or, hear me out.
Like split
You live
custody
with
of Kyle.
Eric.
And
Erica
Erica
lives with
lives
me.
there.
That's true. That's
I
possible.
mean, I know you guys are married, but like,
Well, the fact
people
that,
do long distance all the
Yeah,
time.
all the
well,
time.
we're trying to have a child, so
Oh, okay,
that's
well,
also not as easy.
It's tough to
So,
do long distance
Yeah.
and also
Well,
get
good luck
pregnant.
Yes.
Yes.
Either way. But
Godspeed.
yes, I could bring
Yes.
things here because I was thinking about it on my way over here. Is it good to put my comic books in a storage unit, especially
I
when
also
it's
plan to
probably
bring
not?
stuff here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Okay.
sorting hat, my big Harry Potter poster.
Just know
I
they're
can-
going to end up in my room at some point.
Okay.
We'll wear that
I
thing.
can, I can bring my Harry Potter one that I got now.
That's right.
It came in the mail. I didn't even order it. It was one of Erica's friends that does Jeep stuff with her, lives in Texas. She's a big Harry Potter fan, has tons of wand collection. And she had a duplicate, and she said that maybe she thought we might could use it on the podcast if we ever did Harry Potter something.
Nice.
Very nice.
So
Very nice.
I now have a wand.
Very,
So should I
very
start
cool.
sending you guys like houses on the market?
You know, we're gonna put a modular out on some land that I
Oh,
have
nice.
outside of
Okay.
Pine Level,
Cool.
but we hadn't started that process yet.
Right.
And so we found out not this Monday, but last Monday that hey, we may do this. We may put the house on the market. It's
Right,
like,
right,
oh,
right.
okay.
Moving
then
up the timeline, I see.
So last Friday they came to like just look at the house, and then this week now it's
And May became shall.
yeah. It was like we were not even gonna put it on the market till October. Well, technically it wasn't on the market. The realtor was just very antsy and said,
Right.
"I've got some folks that might buy this house," and she phrased it very well on the phone. She said,
Nice.
She left me a message and said, "Hey,
Just make
this
sure-
may work out great for you guys because it may mean that it's not a very interrupting to your schedule. We're having to show it to lots of people." It's like, or it just moves us out of the place we're living. So either way, it's
Make
gonna
sure
work out. I'm
they
not worried.
include that all those pine trees are included.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, if this house gets sold, does that mean I have to host your annual Halloween party this year?
Yeah, something else is going to have to happen this year because I don't think we can do that in the storage unit.
I mean, we could. That would be interesting.
That would be a pretty dope Halloween party. Like
pretty
a rave
dope, but also
unit.
Depending on how big the storage unit is.
That's
if
true.
it's like one of those little tiny ones that you see like on Storage Wars or whatever,
Right.
Like
I've got to
we're
pack
probably
my-
all getting COVID from that.
I've got to pack my entire house into one of those, so it would be very hard to stand and party at the same time if everything else
I
packed
don't know.
into
Could
that
be
place.
pretty interesting.
Very true.
Maybe I'll have a new floor by then.
Maybe we'll do a podcast episode from the storage unit.
From the storage unit. Live from storage unit.
It's not going to have
Storage
Wi-Fi, I'm
unit.
pretty sure, so we'll have to use something else for recording because my iPad is only Wi-Fi. So
I don't know. I can use GarageBand without Wi-Fi.
what's what I'm saying? We can just do one though.
Yeah.
We'll sit on my couch.
Maybe
and
we'll have
storage unit.
our portable system by that point.
That's true.
We need to talk about that before.
We need to buy that.
Yeah.
We look at Ashby and it's like, hey, I know you bought us Dairy Queen, but we also need
We also need you to buy this right here.
So
And anyway, so things are starting to go back to filming, sort of like in steps and like stair-stepping into trying to slowly build back into filming actual things.
Yes.
Thank God, honestly. Like, hats off to the cast and crew of all these amazing movies and TV shows who are having things stuck up their nostrils on a daily, weekly basis so that they can continue to bring us the things that we love. So, Supernatural's back. They have a few episodes left to film before they're done forever, which has to be like a mind-bending thing to sort of think about because they were literally 2 or 3, I think they were 2 episodes film-wise, not like showing to the audience-wise because they had some stuff in post, but they were 2 episodes away from being done filming the series after 15 years, and they had to quit for months.
Wow.
And so they're going back to film the last 2 episodes. And then, so the last few episodes, like 4 or 5, will be premiering in October on the CW. And then I will say goodbye to Supernatural forever.
what conventions will you go to then?
I don't know.
Well, I imagine they'll still go.
I mean, they'll still probably do some conventions, at least for a while. But, like, I've been watching this show in real time since 2006. I was in high school. I'm 32. Like, it's been on for a while.
That's cool.
So, yeah, but it's just going to be, it's going to be very emotional for me.
We can talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like, I can't relate to that. Like, there's nothing that I've watched for that long, like, of a period of time.
Man.
I'll be honest. I didn't watch a lot of television until I got married, and I don't mean that like in a. It's not a your marriage is boring, but it's just once you move out and you have your own place and you're not living with your parents, and like you're just home a lot more.
Right.
Like in your own place, you
Right.
naturally watch more television. I feel like
Yeah.
unless you schedule it to do other things. But
Yeah. So, as far as I know, Marvel isn't back. I don't think, like,
They
Falcon
are.
Winter Soldier
I think they're.
or WandaVision.
I think I saw something today that they are resuming filming, or they're going to start resuming
Soon.
filming for Falcon and Winter Soldier
Okay.
soon.
I know they said they pushed back the
In Atlanta.
premiere date until spring 2021.
Yeah.
So, but there's some other
And Black Widow might get pushed back again too.
right, and probably Wonder Woman,
Mm-hmm.
and
I wonder
also
about Wonder
probably
Woman.
Murder on the Nile. Ugh, sorry.
well, like because the cup that you brought that had Eric's Orange Julius in had Wonder Woman on. it.
Yeah, Dairy
part of the
Queen's
movie.
doing the big thing right
Push
now.
for it.
Right.
I saw that Batman now is delayed.
But is that something that could be had been in the works in advance? And
That's
Right.
I mean,
Right, yeah. And Mulan, you can watch Mulan right now on Disney Plus if you pay for Disney Plus Premium, which is like $30.
and is there anything else you get
So-
with premium?
No,
no.
Because that's the way I saw it.
I don't
phrased.
think so.
Well, I saw that it's like $30 for a film without Mushu.
Correct.
So,
Right, without
doesn't
Eddie
work
Murphy.
out.
Why would
Yeah.
I watch that?
Because Ming Na Wen is in it, and she's,
Well,
and she's a
also,
queen.
yes.
That's true.
Correct.
So-
I mean, I am going to watch Mulan, and I think it's amazing.
I think I'm
can't
going to wait until it drops on regular.
But I
Disney
think I'm going to
Plus.
wait until December, because they did give a date for when it drops on regular Disney Plus. No
Which-
offense, but like $30 is a lot.
By the way, I'm realizing now, like, so when Disney Plus originally dropped last November, Verizon customers got it for a year for free. Mm-hmm. And I'm realizing November's coming up. I'm going to start paying for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That's going to be weird.
Welcome to my
I'm
world.
going to lose my $7.
I'll have to
every
drop
month.
something. Just because I feel like I
I
don't
know.
ever watch Disney
I'm
movies
really
as
going
much
to have
as
to
what I
drop
used to.
something too.
Well, I thought Disney Plus was going to be this thing that I gave up everything else for, and I don't think it held up to that.
No.
No, it did not.
No.
It's not bad. Like, I don't
I
mean that as
actually
a
rarely
negative,
watch
but
it,
yeah.
honestly.
I rarely watch it too.
I go every month to watch our superhero movies.
Yep.
that we gonna
watch The
review.
Mandalorian, and then I went when I first got it, I went back and did the whole nostalgia run where I was like, Great Mouse Detective, so weird,
Blank check.
Motocross, yeah. And now
First
I'm just
kid,
kind of like, okay, I'm done.
Rookie of the Year,
I'm done there.
Sandlot.
Yeah. So now
Right.
I'm just kind of like, do I want to keep paying for this?
Ryan Bassett says, you guys see Borat 2 is coming out. The one man who can save us from 2020.
Very nice. Yeah, well, we'll see.
Very nice. Give me your tears,
I wonder
Gypsy.
how Ashby would do at that game we did the other night. The Blockbuster game.
I really thought about, this is something, that's a segment we should do on the show.
Okay. We play it.
Eric brought this Blockbuster game.
It actually looks like a Blockbuster VHS case.
Nice.
And so you open it up, and it's got, there's a bunch of different things, but at the beginning at least, you have two people, and you flip a card over, and it's like movies with car chases in it. And you name one, you hit the buzzer, he names one, you hit it's back and forth.
Until someone
Somebody
can't hit name
Okay.
one.
And then it goes forward with teams and stuff where you have, like, Eric's on a team, I'm on a team, but, like, there's multiple people.
Right.
Eric draws 3 cards.
See, I'm bad at thinking on my feet, though.
Well, I am if it's not for this type of thing. Some of them I wasn't good at.
Yeah.
But, like, some of it I knew a lot more than I thought I would.
I like movies with car chases. So now I'm kind of like, okay, Fast and the Furious.
We had to put in a rule that you couldn't do later that you couldn't do sequels.
You're
Right.
right.
Literally,
Fast and
we
Furious.
did 8 Fast and
Too
Furious
Fast, Too
movies.
Furious.
Yep. Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift. Whatever James Bond movie, anyone, just name one.
But it's not that simple. It's like movies that involved or set kind of in a school.
Right.
And so there was.
So I started naming all the Harry Potter movies.
Yes.
Right.
That's something
Right.
where we decided, like.
Breakfast Club.
We left out Clueless somehow.
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, Clueless.
So I think it'd be fun though. We should like do an episode where we just go all around and play in like 3 people instead of 2, and then we just I don't know. We won't have a prize. We'll just say this winner is, and then maybe we'll start doing it on Facebook at some point. We'll let somebody else in the crowd join in.
Yeah, maybe.
Or Facebook. Well, I guess we'll have to call somebody because there's a delay, and I think it wouldn't work out very well.
We'll figure that out.
We'll get there.
All right. Well, let's move ahead. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you maybe you're a song and you make me want to roll my window down and cruise, or maybe you're just a hopeless romantic going through a breakup. Whether you're one or the other of those things, we would like you to please subscribe to us on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast, and please rate and review us 5 stars only.
5 stars.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Please also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at What Media. All one word. Also, you can search for us on YouTube at What Media by typing that into the search bar. Our episodes are coming out on YouTube again as audio-only files. I don't know if you noticed this, Ashley. It's an audio-only file, but they're coming.
Okay.
Yep,
Sorry, Hunter Batten.
Yeah, but still, they're coming out on YouTube, so you
Right.
can listen to us on YouTube as well. And please share with your friends if you enjoyed today's episode or one of the 62 other What episodes that we have available in the archives. Last time on this podcast, they talked about, what was the name of the movie? Bring It On?
Bring it on.
Yeah.
I was like, what did we talk about?
It wasn't a democracy, it was a cheerocracy.
It was a cheerocracy.
There were toros in the atmosphere.
Kyle was a cheer-tater.
Spirit fingers here.
Did you watch it yet? Because you're quoting a lot.
I'm quoting the episode.
Good job.
I listened to the episode.
Okay.
Today, we are taking a
Deep
dive
into the world of mixtape songs. This is a change from our schedule that they didn't consult me on, but whatever.
Well, we didn't have to review.
We only didn't consult you because we had to give a shout out to the next
a
episode.
little preview
At the end, and we very carefully and cautiously looked at the schedule to try to find a way, in case you were going to be on vacation again this week, to move it so you wouldn't miss an episode we knew you would really enjoy.
Well, either way, I'm going to really enjoy
I'm really excited about the next episode we're going to do.
Yes.
Right.
It's your favorite movie
Yes.
It
ever.
is my favorite
Yes,
movie
so
ever.
we
So
definitely
how
had
much
to make
of
that.
like a turd move would that be
That's true.
for us to
Right.
cover that movie with you?
Correct.
I'm just offended that you wouldn't think I'd show up for any kind of music-related episode.
Well, that's fair.
Well, it was
That's
just something easier to us to be like, okay, because we went through at least 2 to
We
3
did.
options, and we're like,
we
no,
did.
Eric would
We
want
were
to
like,
be here
no, because one of
'Cause
them was
musicals are-
favorite musical numbers,
Yeah.
like favorite songs from musicals.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're taking a deep dive into mixtape songs where each of us have 4 songs that we are putting on a themed mixtape. Now, do y'all want to talk about the process of how we decided what these themes were? I know you... I'm not looking...
Kyle would love to talk about that.
I will.
All right. Kyle, talk about it.
So what I'm talking about, how we decided which mixtapes we're doing.
Yep.
So Ashby and I were talking the other night whenever we recorded the Bring It On episode And mixtapes can go all sorts of ways. And they can have all sorts of songs. But a lot of times, typically, there's some sort of theme behind it. When you're making one, you're either going to give it to somebody, or you're making it because you're about to go on some long drive, or something along those lines. It's summertime, and you just want some great summer mix to have in your car. Now, I get it. It's different for this type of world now, where it's just you have, I have Apple Music, you guys have whatever. You just put it in, and you can have literally any song at your fingertips.
Tip of your fingers, yeah.
No, back in the day, we slaved over these.
Yeah,
things.
it was a process.
I remember that process because I drove the XB over here today because I've got to drop off and get it inspected tomorrow, and all it has is a CD player in it. And ironically enough, there was a mixtape in the CD drive or whatever you want to call it, and it was a loved one, or one that I gave Erica for her birthday when she turned 30. So when she turned 30, I put in a bunch of songs throughout her entire lifetime of being, up to the point of being 30. So some songs where she was younger and stuff that I just knew she listened to when she was younger. Even, she was a big fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, so I had, the soundtrack for, the big, whatever.
Dun, 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 dun,
yes,
dun,
the
dun,
whole
dun,
album
dun,
started
dun,
off with that. And so a variety of things throughout that entire CD. So that was just kind of a recollection of her 30 years on this planet.
That's awesome.
So I did that for her 30th birthday. So that's kind of just a great example versus I was listening to a playlist I put together today of my songs that I'm going to talk about tonight whenever I was driving my car home that I could listen to in my car. But I don't know. That's a big part about it, I think. We were talking earlier. When we look back at our mixtapes now, or CDs, a lot of them are blank because we didn't think to write anything on them. We were busy and putting it together. But honestly, at this point now, if you go back and listen to them, it's really cool to just randomly stick them in and just find, it's all a big surprise to you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, there's a couple that, I will always remember my first one that I ever had because I was still in middle school, but my sister was away at college, and this was the first time ever that you could burn CDs. Our computer at home wouldn't do it, but she got a new computer for going to college, and so I would send her lists monthly, and she would make CDs and send it back to me. So I remember it had Aerosmith and Run DMC Walk This Way on it. It had Limp Bizkit on it. It had the Pink Floyd. I don't remember. There's a bunch of people though. If I hear that now, I automatically know which CD it is. And I think that's a thing to point out too. We keep calling it mixtapes, but for us in our generation, honestly,
it was burn CD.
It was mixed CDs.
Yeah, because Ryan actually just said you're a real one if you tape songs off the radio. So you could do that. You used to have cassette players that had a radio function, and when your song came on the radio, you press record really quickly, and it would record off the radio onto the cassette, and then you'd stop. You wait for the next song you wanted to record. You'd hit record, and so you could create a mix CD from the radio.
Yeah, and that's how all this came about. The whole mixtape idea came about by doing that, where people, and we'll talk a little bit about in the comment section later, but that's what people used to do, is just sit for hours waiting for the radio to play a song, versus now, you can go to iTunes and buy the song, or just listen to it on whatever.
Go to YouTube.
Yes, I literally look at YouTube all day long. You can listen to anything. But back then, you didn't really have that option unless you had a CD or I guess a tape at that point. But you would make mixtapes for other people. You would put songs together and ideas of things that you thought either they would enjoy. I remember getting into it when we finally got a computer that you could burn CDs. And that was a way of me getting to know some of my friends. So I would be like, burn a CD for me of things for you that you love, that you enjoy, and I would do the same. I'd put a CD together of things that I really liked and send it to them, a representation of myself. So you'd be like, musically, this is who I am.
Nowadays, we make playlists for each other.
Yeah,
Ashby's made a playlist and shared it with us before. That's what we do now. So, what are the 3 categories that we are doing?
Okay.
We asked you guys, because that was the point to get full circle back to this.
Yep.
We put it out there for you guys. We wanted you guys to decide what or who this person was going to, either what style this would be or just who was going to be receiving this.
Right.
So a lot of you guys chimed in with different ideas and thoughts, and so we came up with, what's yours, Eric?
I'm doing Cruising with Friends.
Cruising with Friends. What's Ashby?
Breakups.
And I have the choice of Lifetime mixtape.
A great breakup song that we cannot do because
but there was
but it came out when we were in high school, and
yes,
some guy named Iman.
So you guys had a lot of great options. So what we decided to do, because originally we were just thinking hey, we'll just do one big mixtape, one theme.
We'll put together one theme. We'll each contribute to it.
But we decided, you know what? We're just going to each take grasp of one of those styles, and each one would put our own mini group together. I think we did like 4 songs each.
4 songs
Yep.
each.
That way, this didn't turn into a multi-hour situation.
Yes, and I'm gonna try not to sing every song all the way through.
Well, something cool about it too
Correct.
is we didn't really talk a lot about it.
No, we didn't.
So each of us, the way we may talk about these songs is probably going to be a little bit different because
Yeah.
we really all we said was pick your song. So
Yeah.
I mean, literally, my entry for every entry is going to be like, "This will be a fun song to jam with your friends in the car."
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I mean, there's really not much to it. So
Mine was just me crying a lot.
yes,
I can understand it though because there's a
Breakup.
lot of stuff that I was like,
And I went for broke. Like, I went back and I was like, okay, what, like, instead of just doing, like, really popular breakup songs, I went and found songs
she went
that,
to deep
like,
cuts.
meant to, like, I went and found songs that remind me every time I listen to them of a breakup I have had. So, like, I did some work for y'all.
We're getting deep.
or
today.
either one, Dashboard Confession or Ben Folds because Joe
No.
Fitzgerald said
No.
either one of those for breakups.
You need
I
Taylor
mean,
Swift.
honestly, though. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
It can't be a
Yeah.
breakup playlist
Yeah.
or mix CD
There
without
was
some
almost,
Taylor Swift. I mean,
there was almost an all-time low song that made it.
oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Well,
there's been a few.
let's stop talking about it. Let's
Yeah.
be about it. Ashby,
Let's be about it.
give us your first entry into your breakup list mixtape.
So, I went full on, like, every single song that reminds me of breaking up, and then I sort of started, like, trying to cull, like, what was the best, and I had a few because my theme was just, I think someone commented, like, breakups a few times, and it was like, okay, well, am I making this mixtape for someone I'm breaking up with? Am I making this mixtape to make me feel better about being broken up with? Am I making this mixtape because, like, I'm in a relationship that's just not working and I just need to be sad about it and, like,
Right.
in my feels? So and then also you can have friendship breakups.
Yes.
You can have breakups with, like, life events. Like, I feel
Family.
like when you move through stages of your life, you have to kind of break up with where you were to get to where you're going.
Right.
So in 4 songs, I sort of
That's
tried
tough.
to, like, bring all that in, okay?
Let's
So
do it.
get ready, people.
Get ready.
Song number 1, friendship breakups / sorta you broke up with me. Who Knew by Pink.
Ooh, that's good.
It's such a good song, and I'm about to make it even better because I looked up, just for giggles, what it meant to Pink.
Ooh.
So first of all, I'm going to give you, and I'm not going to sing because that's for Eric to do, and I'm definitely not going to do the whole song.
If
but,
I knew the song like well enough, I'd start singing it now.
Okay.
Just to help me out. All I know is "Who Knew."
Yeah, there you go. There
Well,
you go.
that's
So I just picked some of the lyrics that, like, this is where the song found me. So it says, "Remember when we were such fools and so convinced and just too cool. I wish I could touch you again. I wish I could still call you friend. I'd give anything. When someone said count your blessings now before they're long gone, I guess I just didn't know how. I was all wrong. They knew better. Still, you said forever and ever. Who knew?" Ah, so good.
I'm
Okay.
gonna all start crying.
Yeah, so I thought, okay,
Thanks,
this
Ashby.
song to me,
I'd say like, and I still want this on a mixtape. Like
Yeah.
I want one
it's so
I've
good. Okay.
screwed up mixtape. But
so Who Knew came out in 2006, and I was graduating high school and going to college, and I had to say goodbye to one particular friend that meant a lot to me.
Right.
And it was really hard, and it was so like this song because it was a friendship. It was not a romantic relationship, but it was one of those things where in high school you just think this is it. Like, these people are going to be, like, with me for life. And then when you transition into college, some people, yes, they do stay with you and you're fortunate enough to, like, grow through life together. But sometimes you have to come to a realization that, like, a friendship isn't going to make it to the next stage of life. And it's really heartbreaking. So that's what the song was about for me. But then I looked up, Pink wrote this song, and it went onto her 4th studio album, I believe. And I found a quote from her. It says, so in the New York Daily interview she did, she talks about writing the song about a male friend, not a boyfriend, she lost to drug abuse. Who Knew was written by Pink, Max Martin, and Dr. Luke, and then was produced by Martin and Dr. Luke. And she said, talking about her teenage years, she said, "My life was insane. When I was really young and a teenager, I was in and out. I was out of control and doing a lot of stupid things. Some of my friends were selling crack. I got into drugs. I've always been honest about that, but I don't like going into details because I've got a lot of young fans and I wouldn't want to give them any ideas. I found a friend dead from a drug overdose when I was 14. He was a male friend, not a boyfriend, but he meant a lot to me. Most of the people at the funeral were just children. It should have been a wake-up call for me, but it wasn't." And so she did finally get clean and sober and get out of that and get famous. But who knew, when it says, you know, I thought that you would be here forever. And, you know, people said that in 3 years from now, like, if someone had told me that you'd be gone, I thought it was like you broke up with me or you left or you, like, noped out of the relationship. But in this particular instance, she's literally talking about being gone. Wow. And it's like, I had no idea that was where our friendship was going to end. So I just thought it was really interesting because I was trying to make it like a friendship breakup song. And apparently, from Pink's perspective, it's actually about, like, losing a friend, which made it even, like, more deep. Yeah. So anyway, that's my first one.
But something I love about that, and I was thinking about it earlier today too, is because I was kind of like, for my list, I did put some meanings and stuff behind it, but just realizing how much a song can mean differently to each person.
Right. Yeah.
Because you relate to it. Because I feel like all three of us relate to music, you know, or at least we enjoy music on a deeper level than we do on some other things per se.
Right.
Not to say we're deeper than anybody else, but just, you know, you connect with music. And so you could play one song, but each of the three of us could connect with it in a totally different way.
Yeah.
Because you even like saying parts of it now makes me want to go back and listen to it, and makes me think of the same way of friends you've lost, but also like friends, you know, I'm 33 now, and I think back about at least a handful of people that aren't here anymore.
Right.
That were here, that are my age or younger.
Right.
And are around about that I lost. And it's one of those really things that, I don't know, I almost put some of those type of songs in my life mix or whatever, because it would apply at this point, but I was like, you're doing the breakup one.
Right, we don't want two people doing
we don't want it
heavy
too emotional and sad. Like, I didn't go that route.
It's too
but,
romantic.
But I don't know, that's just something I love about music, because same way, even if you put what the artist intended it to be, you listening to it can relate to it in a much different way. Yes. And so I love that about music.
Right.
There.
Well, and honestly, what's also interesting is I'm a lyrics person. I listen to the lyrics first, but I like a good beat. And what's crazy about this particular song is it sounds like a breakup song because it's not a slow, sad song. I mean, it's pretty peppy, you know, and it's got like sort of a drum beat, like cymbal crash kind of thing. And so the idea that it's about death is also just like when people sort of do something musically that's like the antithesis like that, where you're talking about something really sad and upsetting, but it's peppy. You're like, what is happening? You know? And so I thought that was really interesting that she chose that particular rhythm for that particular song, especially now knowing like what it means to her. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. Kyle.
Yes.
You're up.
So, I kind of took this and ran with it. I know, and we'll get to whoever suggested it later, but they suggest, I think it was, I won't say, because I don't want to get it wrong. I'll slow it later.
Don't get it wrong.
But she put, you know, a mix for a lifetime type thing. And she said that way you can include everything. Technically, that's what she meant, but I took it in a different way. I took it with, how can I narrow this down a little bit to be more about songs for me about life. And my life particularly for me. So if I gave it to you as a representation of some things in my life.
Right.
So my first song is First Day of My Life by Bright Eyes. We'll go straight to the meaning.
Thematic, I like it.
Yeah.
Right.
It says, the song is about a lover realizing that meeting their partner started their life anew. First Day of My Life captures the transformative power of relationships, not only romantic ones. The love song is now a wedding classic. Connor Oberst, who was the lead singer of Bright Eyes, described the song as being about waking up from a long nightmare. Since the lyrics are overly about falling in love and ensuing beginning of a meaningful relationship, the implication is that this experience was the most meaningful part of his life so far, that it felt like a whole rebirth for him. So what I did was kind of take like a quick meaning about this, and then I just jotted down some of my favorite lyrics from it. And it is one of those things that, like, listening to it without diving into it anymore was just like, it sounds like, oh, this is coming from like a baby inside the womb and being, this is the first day of my life. But no, it's so much bigger than that. But here it is. Says,
Coming out of my cage and I'll be-
that's a whole other one.
wrong
A
song.
whole other birth song. Gotta listen to that song.
I want it all. Started out with a kiss.
Wrong song. It's a wrong
Wait,
song.
yeah.
It's very similar, actually.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So
It was
says,
only a kiss.
surprise. It says, remember that time you drove all night just to meet me in the morning, and I thought it was strange. You said everything changed. You felt as just you had just woke up, and you said, this is the first day of my life. I'm glad I didn't die before I met you, but now I don't care. I could go anywhere with you, and I'd probably be happy. There's a lot of other great lines in that song. I totally recommend it. It's some way. It's very like. It's not necessarily poppy, but it's happy. Like it's very just a very happy song. Like just the rhythm and everything else, the way it's done. For me, it gives you that feeling of life, feeling of any time that you've met someone you cared about, and it can be beyond a loved person, like a love relationship. I feel like it can come on, or whatever. It could be a friend relationship as well, where it's just you come in and you just really enjoy being around people, or the first time you kind of start hanging out with each other and be like, this is amazing. This is awesome. I want to continue to my life to be better because of this. So for me, that one really stood out. But yeah, overall, and like I said, his Sons of Wedding. Justin Fawcett showed me about the song when I started working at Airflow like 10 years ago. Because I'd listened to Bright Eyes in high school, but I didn't like get super in depth with them. Mm-hmm. But he was like, "Yeah, that was our wedding song. Like, this is what me and my wife walked out of like the church playing and everything else." And so like, I don't know. For him, it was a little bit deeper, and so it was really cool just to have that introduction to that song.
I'm loving the fact that y'all were doing this really deep look at these meaningful songs, whether it be breakup style or songs about life. So naturally, we're going to take it in another direction because my songs have no meaning at all.
That's different though. Like, she has breakup and I have lifetime.
Look, we have to have someone who's gonna like take this up.
You're constantly bringing this podcast up.
Yeah.
So, which is weird because I feel like I'm bringing everything else in life down lately.
No.
So, but I'm bringing this up. So, my subject again was cruising with friends. So I tried to select songs that you get in the car, you got your friends with you, your group, and you're jamming down the road. Yes. It could be a backcountry road, it could be I-95, wherever you're going. You could be going to the movies, going out to eat, going to a party, whatever. Mm-hmm. You are trying to set the tone with a great playlist. Right. And the only way to really set the tone is with your opening song. Yes. Because if you have a bad first song, you're not going to jam out.
That's true.
I mean, you're going to get into other conversations, whatever, and that could be good too, but you got a good opening song. Right. You're jamming the whole way.
That's right.
So I really thought really hard about this first selection. Okay. And it's going to be fun for me to talk about because I knew who I wanted to feature. Okay. I didn't know which song to feature from this particular artist. Okay. And a lot of people might be surprised by this because all four of my songs are probably going to be a little out of ordinary for when people who like, oh, I didn't know you enjoyed that kind of music.
Okay.
So, without further ado, players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girl, what y'all trying to do?
24 karat magic in
the air. Head to toe so clear. Oh, look out. That's right. 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars.
That's a great.
And I feel like it sets the tone. You're trying to get ready for the night. You're going out with your boys, your girls, your group, whatever. Right. First song right out of the driveway, I think you got them plugged.
That's a good point because I don't really like Bruno Mars, but I love that song.
Yes. My other options from it, I think Bruno Mars is a little underrated when it comes as a musician, but I also think some of his musical choices, especially later in his album, are not playing to his actual talents as a musician. Correct. But other songs I thought about going with was That's What I Like. Okay. And Locked Out of Heaven.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, all those are really good.
24 Karat Magic.
I think that's like good.
That's the opening song.
Like a party starter.
That's setting the tone. Yeah. Let's move on to some breakup songs. Number 2 for Ashby.
Okay, well, here we go. Eric called it. Number 2.
Pop, it's showtime. Sorry.
All Too Well, Taylor Swift.
Yes!
So this is...
I can play that on the piano. Let me go get the keyboard out of the car.
And this is You Broke Up With Me. Okay? So... I will argue until I'm blue in the face that this is one of Taylor Swift's best songs of all time, lyrically. She wrote it for the Red album. I think it was the first instance where we got to see where she was headed versus where she was coming from as a writer. She wrote most of this song. She did have some co-writers, but this was the first instance, I think, of seeing Taylor Swift as a narrative storyteller through her lyrics, where the song has chapters, if that makes any sense. And it just keeps building, and it's beautiful. And it never made it to radio. I think it's sort of one of her sleeper songs that I think a lot of really hardcore fans will tell you about. But unless you listened to the entire album, you didn't really get to know this song as well. It got some critical acclaim. It was one of the standouts for a lot of people who reviewed the whole album.
When do I get to sing it?
Right now, go for it.
And you call me up again just to break me like a promise, so casually cruel in the name of being honest. I'm a crumpled up piece of paper lying here, 'cause I remember it all too well.
So good.
I need to put out an album.
So good. Okay.
What album?
This particular song, she did a Tiny Desk concert for NPR back in December last year or November last year.
Yes, yeah.
And this was one of the 4 songs she chose to feature.
Fantastic.
And
it's so
it was
good.
actually her last song.
If you don't like Taylor Swift, and I totally understand that, do yourself a favor. Just make this the one song of hers that you have heard from start to finish. I promise you will not regret it. It's technically about Jake Gyllenhaal. Don't let that change your mind. It's beautiful. So I'm just going to give a few call-outs lyrically.
I don't know if you're calling out people.
No.
If you call
This
out,
is about... when I sing it, it's about you.
Yeah.
It is about you.
So just a few call-outs. Course 1, it's about you. You know who you are. Anyway.
Thank you, Ryan. My voice is a combination of Fergie and Jesus. Thank you.
Notice
go ahead.
Ryan didn't say anything about my voice. Okay.
We'll get to it.
So it says, because there we are again on that little town street. You almost ran the red because you were looking over at me. Wind in my hair. I was there. I remember it all too well. And then she says, and I know it's long gone, and there's nothing else I could do, and I forget about you long enough to forget why I needed to. It's just beautiful. And then the one we already sang, I call me up again just to break me like a promise, so casually cruel in the name of being honest. When I first heard this song, that one lyric was enough for me to immediately start the song over again. It's so visceral when you had those people in your life that you were so into, and maybe in the moment you weren't old enough or wise enough to understand what emotional abuse looks like. Then as an adult you look back and you're like, they were so mean to me, and it like you thought that was how it was supposed to be. Just this idea of like, well, I'm just being honest. But like what you're being honest about is like everything you hate about me, and that like that's not being honest, that's cruel. And so the way that she just encapsulated that in a few words was amazing. So Taylor Swift is definitely my number 2, and I do have a little thing because it involves our favorite lyric. It says, the lyric I'm most proud of from All Too Well is you call me up again just to break me like a promise, so casually cruel in the name of being honest. That was something I came up with while ranting during a sound check. I was just playing these chords over and over on stage, and my band joined in, and I went on a rant. Those were some of the lines I thought of. I was going through a really hard time. My band joined in playing, and one of the first things I came up with and just sped out were those lines, and I ended up building an entire song around it.
Wow. And
just for people who don't know, the song is pretty long, but I think it caps out at around 5 minutes. So she called up, when she came up with the lyrics, at the end it ended up being about a 10-minute song.
Wow.
And so she called over one of her co-writers and said, you've got to help me filter this down. And it took them a really long time, but they eventually got it into something that they could put on the album. But she said, if I had gone with literally everything I came up with for that particular song, it would probably have been like a 15-minute song on the album.
That's
so
insane.
I thought that was really interesting. So
my favorite lyric from that song is actually the one that follows that lyric, where she says, time won't fly, it's like I'm paralyzed by it. I'm trying to be my old self again.
I'm still trying to find it. Yeah. Yeah.
That resonates with me.
Yeah. I also, fun little, like, misheard lyric, you know.
Oh, we always love those.
People love those.
Yep.
I thought it said, after captured days and nights when you made me your own, like how you can, like, capture a moment or a memory.
Yeah.
It's after plaid shirt days and nights when you made me your own. Like, I guess because he was wearing a plaid shirt, but I'm really disappointed that it's plaid shirt and not captured.
Maybe we can change that. You know. Taylor, we have a note here.
Taylor, just a small
a small change here in this otherwise perfect song.
Yeah. I think you've already cut off like 20 minutes out of the song.
Right.
But you also got this one line wrong. Let's fix that real quick.
I love that song. Like I said, I can play it on the piano. So when we do our album,
we'll put it on the album.
Yep. Kyle, number 2.
We also just a comment quick on that too.
Never mind.
No, I'll go with it. You commented on something too that's important. I think that we're in a world now where a lot of times we miss songs like that, because if you grew up in a generation where you only had the radio, or especially if you had to buy the tapes or the CDs,
buy the whole CD,
you've spent money on the entire thing,
so
you're going to listen to the entire thing,
right?
So that's how there's a lot of songs that you come to love that maybe not everybody does. And in the world now where it's playlists, you just point and click to the one song that you like or that you know, and you end up with stuff like that, you know. And
I feel like we've lost the whole idea of the B-sides.
Yes.
You know, because it like now you can go to Spotify, you can look at an album, and you can just play the most played song, which is arguably going to be the radio hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like you just lose all of that, because I would argue that most of my favorite songs from most of my favorite artists never got radio play.
Totally agree with that.
Awesome.
So either way, just a key note there.
A key note.
Yeah, listen to the other side.
Hey, that sounds like a lyric.
Yes, listen to the other side.
When we write our song.
Obviously, yes, right.
For our original album.
Correct.
Not
the covers.
Yeah.
My next one, 23 by Jimmy Eat World.
Hey, I have a Jimmy Eat World song too.
I love Jimmy Eat World.
I almost had another Jimmy Eat World.
We're going to go from one Jimmy Eat World song to another in just a second.
Nice.
Definitely an introspective, get yourself together kind of song. It reminds me of times that I've made selfish choices and having regrets. To me, it's about trying to move forward and to do better. First off, I just totally like the first guitar lick of this whole song that kind of carries through the entire song, but it captivates me where I just am stuck. Like I'm already in emotion when I hear that part. It's just a very repetitive, like I don't know, just the way it is, the tone, everything else. It grabs me like as soon as it starts. I'll go ahead and just read some of my favorite lyrics. There's another line in it that I didn't include, but it says, I felt for sure that night that once we said goodbye, no one else would know these lonely dreams. No one else would know that part of me. I'm still driving away, and I'm sorry every day. I won't always love these selfish things. I won't always live. Not stopping. It was my turn to decide. I knew this was our time. No one else will have me like you do. No one else will have me. Only you.
Wow, I feel like Kyle and I are both bringing it down.
We are.
A little bit.
We are.
My God.
I'm bringing it back up with my next two. But
okay.
Well, we both know what we know.
What we know.
But that was my thing.
There's your Hamilton reference this week, ladies and gentlemen.
I just love, like, that was a part of the whole lifetime, or life for me. It's like there's ups and downs with it. And this song, I wish I would have listened to it when I was 23, but it makes me think about it now because it's about, you know, being 23, looking around and seeing like things that you've messed up in. Wish I could remember the line. Now I'm just like trying to think. It's like, you know, I always won't be 23, you know, concerned about like these selfish things. And it makes me think about like times in my life where I've been really obsessed with either like say cars or just something for me that's like revolved around me and my obsession with things, that I've let relationships with other people go by the wayside because of it. Or even just, you know, actual friendships or actually relationships that didn't end well because I got focused on other things, like things that I shouldn't have.
Right.
Or just being young and dumb and getting focused on other people. Like, and
I
just
just feel like it's really easy to be selfish when you're younger.
Yeah.
Because you have your worldview can, not always, but when you're younger can be very small. And I think it's easy to think that things revolve around you, not in like a typically selfish way, but I think in an emotionally selfish way. Because you're already, when you're young, everything feels like a big deal. And so everything is happening to you.
Yep.
And I think that when you get out of that, it takes time and emotional maturity to get past that. So at 23, yeah, of course you're a selfish person. But yeah, I really like those lyrics. I'm gonna have to. I love Jimmy Eat World, but I can't hear that song in my head. Okay.
It's okay. You'll be able to hear this next one.
Okay.
So, are you good?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Well,
Bring us back up.
Bring us back up.
If
Give us
you
some cheer in our life.
Yeah.
like I said, if you can't hear those lyrics, well,
Okay.
don't write yourself off yet.
Ah, the pedal.
It's only in your head, feel left out or looked down on. Just try your best.
Try your best.
Try everything you can.
Try everything you can.
Don't worry about what they tell themselves when you're away. Let's do this real loud. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright. See, we're already jamming like we're in the car. So my second entry was Jimmy Eat World, the middle. And this song, it wasn't one that I had in mind originally, but then I was randomly listening to like a random playlist I put together from a couple of years ago, and it came on. And I'm thinking, and I'm jamming to it. And I'm like, this is one we can literally.
Our numbers just went.
The
sound was like.
This is one that everyone knows can jam out to. It's one of those songs that's really kind of like both of your subject areas, because the song was written about like self-introspection, like not worrying about what other people say about you when you're not around.
Right.
It's basically like a middle school drama song in a way.
Yeah.
Where you're so concerned about what everyone else thinks of you. But the lyrics say, you're doing better on your own, so don't buy in. You need to live right now.
Right.
So when you're feeling like that, turn up the radio and turn this song on. You can cruise with friends and jam out this song.
I think that this song was probably my gateway drug into punk. Because, I was your typical, I was definitely your typical tween as far as, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Spice Girls, Britney Spears, And it wasn't until high school that I started sort of, retroactively discovering, and also I will say that I think that about the time that we were all in high school was when that scene went more mainstream, and so you were finally getting to hear bands like Papa Roach and Jimmy Eat World and Evanescence and on the radio and on TRL, where normally that was for pop and rock. That was it. Those were your options. And so to be able to have that in the mainstream and then to be like, oh, well, I actually really love what they're saying and what this sounds like. Let me go try to find other things. And so I think Jimmy Eat World definitely was one of the first punk bands that I was like, wait a second, I need to hear more of this.
Yes.
Well, you mentioned Turn Up the radio. Turn Up used to cover this song.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, we're on number 3. Let's bring the mood back down.
Let's break us
Let's
down.
bring it back down.
I'm glad the way we did this, because you're going to end us on a high note here.
That's right.
Yes.
This is good. Good forethought.
That wasn't planned, but I just
I
just didn't want to go first.
Okay, so now we're on Break Up with Life. You have to break up with life.
Yeah.
So this is Can't Go Back by Little Big Town.
Ooh.
Have you either one of you heard this song?
I have. I
Okay.
don't know it well.
I did not know it.
It's fantastic.
Little Big Town, that's deep cut there.
Little Big Town. And it's a Little Big Town deep cut. It definitely didn't make it to radio.
No.
Okay. I don't want to be a witness to a path that's overgrown. I don't want to see this house not be a home, because time has taken control of what we couldn't see. No, I don't want to be a witness to the end of you and me. And then it ends, I can't remember which girl sings the high parts, but she ends it with this sort of high vibrato, and with the music sort of cuts out, and it says, oh, the tumbling reservations at the heart of my mistakes, some things you can't go back to because you let them slip away. And this is the song that I listen to when I need to cry.
Oh.
Not necessarily because something has happened, but I just know this song will get me to a point if I need an emotional release.
Yes.
And I can't remember exactly when this song came out. It was I didn't look it up. But I know that at some point, because I'm not a huge Little Big Town fan. I like their radio hits. I like them well enough. I think that they've got some good stuff. But
their first hit. Sorry to interrupt. Their first hit was the Boondocks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Boondocks. They've had like Pontoon.
We actually worked on that song for the 4th of July thing. We were gonna do a few years ago on Pine Level, and we ended up not doing that or that song. But
yeah, they have a really great harmonization,
yes,
which I
do.
feel
There's
like
4 of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
2 boys, 2 girls, and what happens? I feel like their radio hits. You get a lot of the girl forward stuff. But this is one of their songs that I must have heard somehow on a playlist or a TV show or something that alerted me to it, because I definitely am not looking at Little Big Town Deep Cuts on Spotify or anything. But it's one of those where they're all like it's all 4 of them using their harmonies really well, which they don't always do for their radio hits. And it's got a very low musical tone to it, so that you can almost like hear the melody of the lyrics more. It's got a Fleetwood Mac feel to it almost.
Okay.
And it's just a beautiful song, and it just talks a lot about literally as you move through life, whether by your own choice or not, there are just some things you can't go back. Like you can't turn around. And some of the lyrics are clearly about a relationship, but some of them are just about mistakes you've made, or like things that you just need to leave alone and move on, or people who have passed on from your life, and just having to just move forward because you can't go back.
That's like very important. I don't want to cut you off.
Oh no, that's fine.
But there's a lot of people that have written songs, and I almost included it in my list, but I didn't. But talk about how, you look back on the good old days, and and even to quote Annie Menard, wish you knew you were in the good old days instead of, it was too late to know or whatever. But because even is it Macklemore and Kesha did the song the same way, just like the good old days and stuff.
Right.
And it hits hard where it's just like there are a lot of things that you look back on those times with, and you look back with such love of those times that you blur out the things that weren't so great about those times.
Correct.
And sometimes you can make some really bad mistakes because you're constantly living in those moments and trying to bring those back.
Right.
Whenever that had its time, it had its moment, and now it's time to move forward and have more moments.
Right.
And that's something I've been bad about in my life, is getting stuck in that, thinking back about either old relationships with like friends or just times and the time you got to experience with those people, and wishing that how can you recreate that now instead of letting it be what it was and really enjoy that and appreciate it, but to move forward from that and not to allow yourself to just keep focusing on that.
Yeah,
definitely.
So yeah.
All right. Moving on to number 3 for Kyle.
Yes. I almost didn't choose this song.
Okay.
Because it is. Maybe you actually probably both can. For this band in particular, it's probably one of the first bands that I ever got into that wasn't necessarily bigger. Like I didn't find out about them radio first. I found out because underground type stuff, when they made it bigger on the radio whenever I was in high school at some point. I was almost like, you don't know them, you don't deserve to listen to them, you don't deserve to like.
You're like soccer fans now.
Yes.
Like soccer fans now. Like every 4 years when the World Cup goes around, you're not a real soccer fan. Who do you like better, Man U or Man City? Like,
right, exactly.
I just want to watch the USA lose to England in the World Cup. Leave me alone.
So even with this song, like I almost didn't want to choose it because it's like their most popular song, everybody in the world knows it. But I could not do it. I could not choose it because how it relates to me.
Okay.
And Ashby quoted it the other day, but Hands Down by Dashboard Professional.
Breathe in for luck.
You don't know this one?
I don't know the words.
Oh, come on. You've got some homework to do.
Yeah. I've got it on one of the playlists. I mean, it's literally on my playlist, but I don't know this one super well.
Wild. Okay, sorry.
So that was awesome. I couldn't help you out.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, so good.
So Vindicated got bigger later because of Spider-Man, I think, too.
Right.
Also, like Screaming Infidelities got bigger because it was one of their main releases. But Hands Down, they put out, I want to say, on the So Impossible EP or whatever, but it was acoustic, and that's how I grew it. Like I downloaded it illegally and listened to it that way. And then they put out the newer record when we were in high school that he did electric, and everybody's like, "Oh, I love Dashboard Confessional," and that one was like,
Right.
Screw you, you don't know Dashboard
exactly.
Confessional." But
that's like when Modest Mouse, they're like, what would have been, could have been worse than you. And everyone was like, oh my God, Modest Mouse. And Modest Mouse fans were like, you know what? We've been here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't get ready because of Houston.
Exactly.
But I've always had like my emotions with stuff with Hands Down, but I went back and looked at an interview today that Chris Caraba did with Kerrang, the website. I didn't include the entire article. I totally was just looking at it, but he literally, the entire article talks about writing this song.
Oh, wow.
And I think he was back in town around Christmas time with his mom, like, and she was out doing some shopping or something, and he ended up writing this at home. And so it says, with Hands Down, it was a really beautiful day. It was inspired by a lot of things that had been happening around me. The fact that my life was changing so radically in such a way that I had to be careful because I didn't know who my friends were anymore. So you cling to your old friends, your tried and true friends, your early friends if you're smart or lucky or both. So I guess I was thinking about one of those relationships, one with a girl that I had been friends with who I had deep feelings for beyond friendship. And I was thinking about my circle of friends, the people that had held importance long before success, and I guess I was longing for some ways for that connection. And so I sang about what I say is still the best day I've ever had in my life. In my whole life. Is that true? I don't know. But it's certainly the measuring stick. And what was spilled out of that story actually is not a story. It's a telling of an event. Of taking a risk in spite of your own head, your own worries about finding something special, even better or bigger than you could ever have dreamed. I don't know how many of those you get as a songwriter, fewer than you want. Those songs where you really are just like in the moment and you're transported to some other place in your life. And it comes out in music, lyrics, and melody. It's delivered in such a way that it can take you there anytime you play it. If I want to be in that place emotionally, 100% all the way there, I can play that song. And just for me, I just said the song gets at a certain point in my lifetime, and it transports me back every time that I sing along to it. So there was a point in my life that it's got to be like middle school or early high school, but I was starting to meet friends like AOL Instant Messenger or friends from friends, from outside your school, like that didn't go to North Johnston. So I started meeting other friends that were starting to get me into like Dashboard and other things that I just didn't know about. So I think about that, and anytime like I hear this, it takes me back to those moments of just spending time with people, hanging out, especially like high school age, early college age at Will Howard's house. I remember Will Howard showed up randomly one day with a record player, and I was like, nobody has a record player, Will. And
Not
then he
then,
was
how little did we know?
I know. They were about to make a comeback. Will Howard was ahead of his time.
He was.
Well ahead of his time.
In so many things.
Yes, that's very true. But Will Howard had that, and I remember him having like an Under Oath album, which was crazier to me because I think about vinyl, especially at the time. It's totally different now, but in high school, you listen to vinyl and you're like, oh, this is my parents' albums. You're not listening to like a band that's screaming and playing heavy music on a record player, but he was. And next thing I know, he's like, oh, I think you'll like this one, and puts it on his Dashboard. And I was like, how perfect fitting is like Dashboard to be on a record player? I say all this where I remember watching the Dashboard Confessional Unplugged on MTV, which was still like, I'd say it's top MTV Unplugged performance ever. They also were just kind of already unplugged anyway, so it kind of fit perfectly for them. But that still holds up. The whole performance holds up. And they just did release it on vinyl last week. And so I bought it last week. It'll be in the mail sometime. I don't have a record player yet, but that's like the first thing that's going on. But anyway, some of my favorite lyrics from the song kind of breaks down to like what the bridge would be towards the end of the song. It says, hands down, this is the best day I can ever remember. I always remember the sound of the stereo, the dim of the soft lights, the scent of your hair that swirled in your fingers, and the time on the clock when we realized it's so late, and this walk that we shared together. And the streets were wet and the gate was locked, so I jumped it and let you in. And you stood at your door with your hands on my waist, and you kissed me like you meant it. And I knew that you meant it, that you meant it, that you meant it. And I knew that you meant it, and you meant it. So some of that doesn't work great with me just saying it.
Right.
But tons of emotion.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Very good stuff.
Definitely, you have listened to that one.
Meant it. Yeah.
Yes, definitely go listen to that one.
Love that song.
Cool. Number 3. And before I get to my number 3 for Cruising with Friends, I want to do a little disclaimer. These songs that I'm picking aren't necessarily my favorite songs of all time.
Right.
They're not. I'm not lauding the artist's ability to be great songwriters, whatever.
Yeah, this is
I'm
about
just saying
talent.
this is about fun.
about feel good.
This is about songs you can jump in. I'm
about-
thinking like carpool karaoke
Right.
because that's something we might do this weekend. So this next artist, I'm not a big fan of.
Okay,
I'm really
fair.
not a big fan of.
Okay.
not put the Nickelback song in
no, I did not. No, God,
Creed.
no.
Is it Creed?
It's not Creed
Are
either.
you sure?
No, this is a country artist,
Is this
and
like-
I say country with quotation marks
Quotation marks.
because I'm a fan of country music from 90s, 2000s. I feel like a lot of current country is more southern pop than it is country.
Right. Southern
but
pop.
yeah, but whatever. So this would not make one of my best country songs ever. But in terms of just driving around with friends or cruising with friends, I felt like it had to make the list. So, I mean, should I just go out and say it?
Yes.
I think so.
Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise down a back road, blowing stop signs through the middle of every little farm town. With you in this brand new Chevy with a lift kit, look a hell of a lot better with you up in it.
Oh, that's
So-
the Nelly part.
Well, that's the thing. Florida Georgia line with Nelly.
With Nelly specifically, yes.
Cruise.
Correct.
That specific song. I know
Yes.
FGL did a song by themselves, but the Nelly version is the one I would put
yes.
on full stop.
Got to.
Again, it has the word cruise in the
the
title.
title, right.
I mean, how fun is it to say, and cruise? I mean, just
Right,
like that
yeah.
is just a fun
Even
song to
that
kind of
feels
sing.
like riding down a road.
So yeah, I mean, it literally talks about riding up and down the little back roads
Right.
with whoever. It might be a
Right.
girl, it might be with your friends, whatever.
Right.
It's literally in the song title. I felt like it would be a disservice not
I
to
just think we
include
should have a
it.
disclaimer that I've never blown a stop sign.
Me neither.
Allegedly.
Actually, I have. I did it with Danny Hennett when
Just
I was
kidding, I
when I was
don't
doing
have.
driver's ed.
I don't think I
He
never
made me get out and apologize to the stop sign for not listening to
Of
it.
course he did, Danny.
It was at the end of that road,
Uh-huh.
right down the road from where I work now. Going out of Micro, that stop sign where you get to Lowell Mill Road, I rolled through it, and he made me pull over, get out, and apologize to the stop sign.
I'm
Have you ever been
It stuck with me. Obviously,
Of course
here we
it did.
are,
I mean,
almost 20 years later.
Have you ran a stop sign since then?
Not that I know of.
Well, see, there you go.
I
It
have
works.
I have run a stoplight.
There's been multiple times where I
But
was,
you can't get out and apologize to stoplights.
That's true. You could. But you got to stand there in the middle of traffic. But just to be fair, I have been told that Florida Georgia Line is the Nickelback version or the country version of Nickelback. So
I think that it's a
I
fair
think that's a
statement.
fair
I
statement.
haven't.
But even
I don't
Nickelback
say
has
that as a bold statement because I just don't know
Right.
them well. I know
Look,
that.
here's the thing.
even Nickelback has a couple of bangers. They're not necessarily.
That's true.
That's true.
I
I
have
agree.
seen Florida Georgia Line in concert.
What did you think?
It was fantastic.
Okay.
Okay. I will not lie, I loved it. And I feel like they're so good at earworms. Where like I'm like, that's it. Next time I'm not gonna like it.
Yep.
And then they put something out and I love it. And I can admit that it's not great music. It's not like high rated talent, lyrics, like it's never gonna be
It is
in
what
depth
it is.
music. But
Right.
it is fun to listen to.
Yes.
And it was a great concert.
And I want to give a shout out to the songwriter of that song, who is a alumni of both the TV show Survivor, 21st season. He was a
Okay.
runner-up.
Okay.
And he's an alumni of North Carolina football.
Oh.
Chase Rice, who's also a country artist
Chase
now.
Rice wrote that song?
He wrote that song.
Carolina
and-
Can is one of my favorite songs, hands down,
Yep.
of country of the last few years.
He wrote that song a couple of years after he was on Survivor.
Okay,
Which
that
was a
makes
couple of
sense.
years after he finished playing football. At
He's
North
from the
Carolina.
mountains.
Yeah, he's from North Carolina. So.
Yeah, Asheville area.
Yep, so go Chase Rice.
That's right.
Well, you brought up a good point in the midst, like before you said it, and it may have been before those.
I bring up good points all the time.
You do,
Fair,
but
fair.
you brought up a really good point where how our songs are kind of more on an emotional level versus your songs are just meant to be fun, which is needed.
Both are important.
Because you can't overly focus. Like if every moment, everything you listen to is very emotionally draining
Right.
on you,
Right.
then you're exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
And you can't just enjoy.
I'm
the
exhausted
drive.
all the time.
Which is why I still listen to the Spice Girls. Like,
Yeah.
there's something to be said for feel-good music.
Absolutely.
It's very important and it's needed. Like
So.
I went through a stage that way, and I had a friend make me a mixtape
Nice.
that said "Happy Songs" CD,
Right.
And it was literally like had the
Right.
Ghostbusters like theme
Yeah.
song on it, and I had a bunch of like oldie songs. Like,
Ghostbusters!
and it's just songs that make you cheerful and happy,
Yeah.
like to sing along with. So
I would agree with that.
they're very much needed.
Yeah.
I like this new setup. I feel like we're just like straight chilling.
We are straight chilling.
I like this.
Ashby, you have one more entry on your breakup list.
Get ready.
Let's do it.
It's a doozy.
I have an honorable mention for your list, by the way.
Oh, I have some honorable mentions.
Okay, cool.
But you get to have an honorable mention if you like one.
Cool.
So, number 4. This is sort of like a mutual breakup. Maybe you have a crush and your crush doesn't like you back kind of situation. Which is like, sometimes I think, maybe as someone who like didn't go through a lot of breakups because I didn't date a lot, but who had a lot of crushes that didn't like me back, that's sometimes even more hurtful. Because like if you're in a relationship and it ends, like it's painful because it ends, but like rejection is worse. I mean, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
100%.
You can agree to disagree.
I agree. To agree.
So this song is called "Breathe Again" by Sarah Bareilles. And it's, again, one of those songs that you would not be able to find on the radio, and you would not know about it unless you...
It makes sense. She didn't want to write a love song.
Correct.
Because you asked for it.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, different song.
Yes.
I can go into that song because I know the backstory of that song.
So
anyway.
Sarah Bareilles, you would have to listen to more of her. You'd have to listen to the B-sides. And I think this made it again across my radar, probably because it was used in a TV show. And I don't remember. I'm just assuming there's a lot of songs from artists that I wouldn't necessarily know of because they've been featured in TV shows that gave me the, like that spark to be like, wait a second, that sounds amazing. Let me go find that. And I think that's where this song comes from, because it's the same, I'm pretty sure it's on the same album that like King of Anything was on. It had like the pink cover.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that album was called.
I'll look it up.
So I'm going to read most of the song.
That's fine.
Go for it.
Listen to this on the way home like it's raining out.
It's so good.
It's perfect time
Listen
to
to
cry.
it on the way
It's
home. Just let all your emotions out.
Keep it between the lines.
And it actually, the reason I'm going to read most of it is because, I mean, this sounds so obvious, but
was it on Kaleidoscope Heart?
Yes,
okay.
I think so. It sounds obvious, but music is poetry, so it's just going to be me reading a poem.
That's fine. We'll listen.
This is called "Breathe Again."
We'll snap.
Cars parked, bags are packed, but what kind of heart doesn't look back at the comfortable glow from the porch, the one I will still call yours? All those words came undone, and now I'm not the only one facing the ghosts that decide if the fire inside still burns. All I have, all I need, he's the air I would kill to breathe, holds my love in his hands, still I'm searching for something. Out of breath, I am left, hoping someday I'll breathe again. And then the bridge just says, oh, it hurts to be here. I only wanted love from you. Yes, it hurts to be here. What am I going to do? It's such a good, you've got to listen to it. It's such a good song. It's just fantastic. And it's slow and it's lilting and it's a gorgeous song. This song found me at a particular phase of life years ago where I felt this way about someone. Just like, it wasn't a romantic relationship. It was a relationship. And it just wasn't going to work for a lot of reasons. But I wanted it to, and it felt like I couldn't breathe when it didn't. So this song will always remind me of that, and now I can listen to it and hear the beauty in it and not sob. So I got out the other side of it, but when I think about breakup songs, that's like at the top for me, and it's a beautiful song.
What's that? Well, what's that on the way home? But like, I'm in a car that doesn't have that. I like the XB has this convenient little cup holder like right at the dash that echoes. So like, I'll put it on my phone.
Just put your phone in there.
And then
Avoiding the thunderstorm.
All right, my last one for life songs. This song has probably made it on most of my mix CDs out of any other song I've ever made. Like, it goes on a lot of them. Especially anything that I wanted somebody to know about me, I would put it on there and tell somebody about. Like, this is it. Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips. It's a song that, honestly, saying it, you probably have no idea, but when you hear it, you're like, oh, I totally remember that. There you go.
Yeah.
You've got it.
Okay.
And so the same way, you can make a lot of songs, whatever it is for you. But for me, this is what it is. To this song, this is making the most out of life. Spend it with the people that you love and to try to enjoy it as much as possible in every moment. As Robin Williams once said in the Dead Poets Society, I wanted to live life deep and suck all the marrow out of life. I want this song, along with a bunch of others, played at my funeral someday. I want my funeral to be a dance party instead of a sad one. Have an amazing time in a room full of people that I loved and know that I'm having an even better time where I'm at in that moment. So yeah, make sure I'm bringing it down so you can lift this up.
Oh, I'm lifting us up, baby.
So we're at your funeral, just to recap.
Yes.
Okay.
I've always said, like...
Pretty sure I'm going first. But anyway. I got more health issues.
This is why it's been put on so many CDs and everything else, because I've always told people, like, this is the number one I want played at my funeral. Like, and there's a part of me that's sad that I won't be there, because I really want this, like, amazing playlist played at my funeral. So if I'm gone before you guys... Make sure you guys put an amazing, mixtape together for my funeral.
We'll make sure we put it together before you go. If we know you're going to go,
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
And you can listen to it first.
Right,
yes.
you can approve. You
can dance around, wherever I'm at. But that's what I've always said. Like, I want my funeral, and not to get all like cryptic and deep and like sad and junk, but like at my funeral, I always wanted it to be everybody just more so having a good time. I want it to be
a celebration of life.
Yes, I want it to be where there's music played, and I've even like thought of like friends that play music. Like, I would love for you to play at my funeral. Like, and that sounds weird, but it's like I would just want that moment to be able to be the most, like, sure, if you want to remember me, that's fine, but that's the best way you can do it, is by being happy in that moment, knowing that I hope I will be in heaven at that moment. Things will be much better for me than they've ever been in my entire life. So for you that are still here, like, if you're here without me, make this just an amazing moment. Just listening to great music, dancing around with each other, and just having an amazing time. So, with all that said, the lyric says, do you realize that you have the most beautiful face? Do you realize we're floating in space? Do you realize that happiness makes you cry? Do you realize that everyone you know someday will die? And instead of saying all of your goodbyes, let them know you realize that life goes fast, and it's hard to make the good things last. You realize the sun doesn't go down, it's just an illusion caused by the world spinning around. So, I don't know. It's just, for me, especially like I mentioned earlier, there's so many people that I've lost already in this life that it does make me want to enjoy the time I have right now each day more so with the people around me. Now, I suck at that sometimes, and I fail at that a lot, but I'm trying to do better, and I'm trying to think about that better, but just in those moments, I'm horrible about like picking my phone up nonstop and like staring at social media and everything else and just nonstop looking at my phone and trying to put that down and just spend quality time with the people in the room with me in that moment, knowing you may never have that opportunity again. So just to make the most out of every moment in life. So there we go.
Wow.
I kind of left you there with a big emotion.
So,
I hope you have like, smash
I'm
mouth.
sobbing over a breakup. Kyle's crying, listening to a song that he wants to play at his funeral. Right. So you gotta take us up. Take us
here's
out.
All Star by Smash Mouth.
I'm gonna try. Oh my goodness. So this is the last song on the playlist.
Okay.
And I feel like it has just as much importance.
Is it closing time?
No, it's not closing time. Because this is the song where when it gets to you want it to be so good that you play it again.
Yes.
You start the playlist over again.
Yes.
You start the mixtape or the CD over again so you can keep the party going.
Correct.
So this is another one of those where I knew this artist would appear on the list.
Okay.
I didn't know which song.
Okay.
It's actually a song that me and you jammed out to when we went to go to McDonald's the week our board.
Yes.
This is by Outkast. I'm going to try not to give us an E rating when I do the first verse here.
Okay.
I'm going to avoid. I'm going to change a couple of words around some strategic words, but yeah, this is I Like the Way You Move. Ready for action, nip it in the bud. We never relax in. Outcast is everlasting. Not clashing, not at all. What's my play? I want to do a little acting, and that's for anyone asking. Give me one pass and drip, drip, drop. There goes an orgasm. Then you go in at the side of your face, we tap it right into your memory banks. Thanks. So click it a ticket. See your seatbelt fasten. Trunk rattling like two midgets in the back seat. Speaker box vibrate the tag, make it sound like aluminum cans in the bag. But I know y'all want that 808. Can you feel that BASS bass? But I know you wanted that 808. Can you feel that BASS bass? I like the way you move. I like the way you move.
I love Ashby's playing a trombone.
Yes. I like the way.
I do this in the car.
I like the way.
Out the window. At a stoplight.
Do you hear that trombone?
Oh, so Yeah, that song is just one I can go over and over. That's probably the first time I got
a lot of Outkast is like that.
Yeah, I mean, so it was between that song, Roses, and Miss Jackson's on there.
Yeah.
Hey Ya is another banger. Roses didn't make it because in the summer of 2005, we played that song nonstop at the pool, and I felt really bad for Caroline, who was lifeguarding with us, because the song literally starts with
really a reason for the word
Caroline. Yeah, she's not. She's really not.
She's not a witch.
She took it in good stride.
Yes.
Though, thankfully, she had a good sense of humor about it. But this song is just one. It's the last song on the album, on the playlist, on the mixtape, whatever. And when you're done, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do the loop. Let's do it again. Play that 24 Karat Magic in the Air again.
So good.
Let's go. So
good.
Outkast, I Like the Way You Move.
I love it. I love it.
That's my fun song.
I feel like we all brought exactly what we were supposed to bring.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this to play this, because honestly, it's one of those ones that it's not so far off that you could blend this just right and have an amazing playlist.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna make
The
this playlist.
only thing I request is that Bruno Mars is first.
Okay.
Outkast is last.
Okay.
My other two wherever. Y'all can put your songs wherever, but I won't start it with a bang, end it with a bang.
Yes.
We can cry in the middle.
Okay, I like it. I will also add honorable mentions. Does anyone have?
I've got a couple honor mentions for your list.
So the playlist will have honorable mentions. So my honorable mentions were Exit Wounds by The Script. He compares a breakup to being shot, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful metaphor. And it, like, literally she's breaking up with him, and he's like searching for the bullet wound because it hurts so bad. And then Where I Stood by Missy Higgins is a beautiful breakup song. When you're upset like it wasn't your fault, but it was. Because she says, basically part of the chorus is, I don't know if I could stand another hand upon you. All I know is that I should. And then the ending is basically talking about him with this other girl, and she says, she who dares to stand where I stood. And it's just so good. It's such a good song. And then Water Under the Bridge by Adele.
Okay.
I almost included this song just because I thought, can you have a breakup mixtape without Adele? And this is an Adele deep track. It's not one of her more like radio hits, more known songs. And it's beautiful, and it's another one of those songs where you're talking about something really upsetting, but it's got a great beat to it, and the chorus is up, and then the verses are down, and so like it picks it's almost sort of like waves, and it's just it's a really well done song.
Definitely.
And it's one of those songs where you're like jamming to it, but you're like, this is so upsetting.
Yes.
So anyway, those were my honorable mentions.
All right, so for your list, I mean, you can have a whole entire list dedicated to just Taylor Swift breakup songs.
Obviously, yeah.
I'm going with two specific songs from her. The first, 1,000 Cuts.
Yes.
Saying goodbye is death by 1,000 cuts. Flashbacks picking me up. I get drunk, but it's not enough, 'cause the morning comes and you're not my baby.
I
look through the windows of this love, even though we boarded them up. Chandeliers still flicker in here, 'cause I can't pretend it's okay when it's not. So good.
Good. And that's sort of has the same vein of All Too Well. Her metaphors kill me. Like the way she describes a feeling through like imagery, like the idea that your relationship is a boarded up house, but the lights are flickering because you can't quite let it go.
Yes, like the one that gets me from that song is when she's like, if the story's over, why am I still writing pages?
Right.
Yeah, I mean that one is so good. And then the other one, and this one, as someone who's gone on a couple of really awful dates in the past 6 weeks, this one, I Forgot That You Existed. Is almost like a revenge breakup song. Like, I forgot that you existed.
Right.
And I thought that it would kill me, but it didn't.
I love how she, like, at the end.
And it was so nice. so peaceful and quiet.
Somewhere there she's like,
it isn't love, it isn't hate, it's just indifference.
Yes, that when she talks instead of singing, like she's like, it isn't love, it isn't hate, it's just indifference. You're like, wow, she couldn't even be bothered to sing that.
I know, that's how little effort she's putting in this. That one for sure.
Yeah. T Swift has some good ones. Clean is really good.
I looked it up, like top breakup songs, because like, I know I have some, but like, where are they?
Right.
And there's so many more than you realize. But to go way back, like "Ain't No Sunshine" by Bill Withers is a great one.
Oh yeah.
But one that really hits is like "The Scientist" by Coldplay.
Yeah.
"Don't Speak" by No Doubt.
Don't speak. I know just what you're saying.
"End of the Road" by Boyz II Men.
That's a good one.
And we've come
to the end of the road, still I can't let go. It's unnatural. You belong to me. I belong to you.
That song has like
we gonna record this album.
That song
is
a deep cut for me because
for sure.
I worked upstairs for a long time with Justin Fawcett. He trained me, like he taught me a lot about life. Like whenever I was getting married, I was like, dude, what do you do about cable? What do you like? How do these things work?
Right.
How do y'all split the bills?
Yeah, like how does any of this work? Like,
right.
How does life
I don't understand.
So he taught me so much, like beyond just work stuff. And whenever I got moved to sales, I had to go downstairs and move in offices and everything else. And as like I was packing up and I'd gone back and forth, but I had one box left. And as I'm like getting that last box, I hear this song blaring from his office. And I have to walk through his office to leave.
Right.
And there's that sad like sitcom moment where I'm walking, this song is blaring, and I just look at him and I was like, dude, I love you, and like walk down the stairs.
That's great.
Like
so, you're never gonna see him again.
And like it just hits so anytime I hear that I think of Justin Fawcett like playing that song and just not like overdoing it, dancing or anything else, but just like it really being an emotional moment.
Right.
Just being like, dude. I've got two more. Nothing Compares to You. It's technically Sinead O'Connor, but Chris Cornell did an acoustic cover before he ever died, and it's amazing. So if you haven't listened to Chris Cornell's Nothing
that's got to be
Compares,
better than Sinead O'Connor. No offense,
no
but like
offense.
hers is just kind of
a little whack.
Yeah.
And then You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette.
Okay, yeah.
So
I almost put
emotional
Alanis Morissette was on my first list.
You ought to know.
Yeah. And I was like, I can't really say any of those lyrics.
The best version of that song is by Kevin Malone from The
Oh,
Office.
interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
You
ought to know.
You ought to know. Okay.
Oh man. Okay.
I had like two honorable mentions.
Okay.
One was going to be, I went back and forth to Jimmy Eat World because I was going to do Hear You Me instead.
Oh, that's my favorite.
And it hits me like it hits me for the longest time. But I will say, like with Lifetime as it goes, like the people that I've lost either to suicide or some of an overdose or just some things happen and you lost them.
See, I didn't realize that song was about a fan for a really long time.
And so, just for me, like like I say, you can mean anything to anybody, but it's just that's the song that reminds me of a lot of the people I've lost in life. To the point that I almost added it to my list as well as 23, but I was like, I've already got two that are kind of like, let's just move it up a little bit happier here. And then the other one was like Constantine by Something Corporate. It's just an insanely long song, but it's not even something special about it per se. It's just whenever I hear that song, it puts me right back at a certain place in my life. Like just enjoying life, listening to that style of music. And the same way like Punk Rock Princess is something Corporate did. Where like Erica and I would joke where she was like my punk rock princess and I was her garage band king or whatever. Like, so we would go back and forth. So it's like moments like that in life were ones that made me think about. But I kind of limited it.
All right. Let's do some honorable mentions for songs about life. I have two. One that actually crosses over me, so I want to do that one last. So it'll be a good transition to honorable mentions for my stuff. But the first one is by Jason Mraz. It's called Have It All. And it's one that came out a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And it's a good song. Like, I guess I actually sang a version of it for our graduating 5th graders this past spring. I had to do virtually. But it's like what you want the people you love to have in life. So like the lyrics, here's to the hearts you're gonna break. Here's to the lives you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Oh, I want you to have it. Yeah. So yeah, just a nice little song about the people you love and all the things you want them to have in life. So.
Nice.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
I have one honorable mention for songs about life. I have a lot of songs about life, but I will say my one honorable mention is The Riddle by Five for Fighting. There's a reason for the world, you and I.
Very
it's
nice.
a beautiful song.
I like that. All right, so my last honorable mention for his playlist, but also one for my playlist. It's a nice little crossover. It's by Fun.
Okay.
F-U-N, period. We Are Young.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, and it's
Lee did an actual really good cover of this.
Yes. It's a good song about life. You know, we are young. Let's set this world on fire.
Right.
But it's also a song you can jam to in the car.
Right.
Give me a second eye. I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom, getting higher than the Empire State. My lover, she's waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar. And so if by the time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry you home tonight. Yes. I was hoping y'all jump in.
It was probably just waiting for like Sean to jump out of the kitchen.
Right, yeah.
Just like sliding hands in the air and just belting that.
So that's my other honorable mention. I mean, there's so many good songs about cruising with friends that you could. R. Kelly Ignition remix is one.
Yeah.
Usher. You Don't Have to Call by Usher. Called Up by Usher. So many, but yeah.
So my honorable mentions for cruising are Penny and Me by Hanson.
Okay.
It's Penny and Me like to roll the windows down, turn the radio up, push the pedal down. It's so great. It's a great cruising song. And Penny and Me like to gaze at starry skies, close our eyes, pretend to fly. It's Penny and Me tonight. And it's literally about cruising. It's so beautiful. It's a great song. And then also a little bit more current song that I love to cruise to, especially in the summer, is A Long and Happy Life by Delta Ray.
Nice.
And it's also kind of a crossover. It's songs about life. It's an excellent song. So
when I think of cruising ones, sometimes just the ones that get me energetic. So like just the third song of that real fast, like Chumbawamba. Like it's an amazing one, just gets you hyped. Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
Yeah.
Is another one that just gets
You
you
and
hyped.
I by Queen.
Yes.
You and I is another one of those B-side tracks that when I discovered, I was like, this is literally the best Queen song ever. Like, why don't more people know about this Queen song? It's so good. So good.
One that's more heartfelt is Motorcycle Drive-By by Third Eye Blind is another amazing song for cruising. Like a traditional like song I feel like for cruising is like Freebird by Leonard Skinner.
Right, yeah.
Just, I don't know, because it speeds up as the entire thing goes on.
Right.
I don't know, there's tons of them. There's a whole like, I'll get to people in a second, but Chris Rhodes listed a CD that we literally had in his Camaro that he got his license before the rest of us did. So there were 4 of us packed in his Camaro every weekend. That CD was in there every weekend, and we cruised around Smithfield, everywhere, like blaring that and just singing at the top of our lungs. So, cool. This list starts off from our social media this week. This list started with who should we do this mixtape for, or what style? Laura Tart Warren said a mixtape of life, so all the options. That's the one I chose. Amanda Newport, a friend that I have from growing up, says it's a mixtape for me and how amazing I am. I expect it left on my car windshield. High school job with a napkin note style. Thanks, Kyle.
Okay.
Ryan Massessi, someone who's really basking in the breakup for like a month, just milking it. Kyle Daltrey said favorite songs. John Parker said definitely a road trip song. Cool fact is John Parker is a transfer truck driver now, so I'm sure that really applies to his life now. Nate Owensby said, if I were to make a mixtape, it would be for my kids. For when they reach that age of a lot of questions about life and Christ himself. Give them songs with meaning so they grow it. So as they grow, it makes more sense to them and gives them the season needed to help mold, I think is what he said, their understanding of what's going on around them, both secular and Christian markets of music.
I would say he could take care of all that in one fell swoop by just introducing them to YouTube.
Yes.
Period.
Yep.
So what on the mixtape? Lewis Edwards said anything dashboard. Josh Sutton said Sublime, Doing Time. Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun. Todd Petty, Running Down a Dream. Man, I could go on and on. And here we go. Chris Rhodes. Okay.
Here we go.
So I thought about it for a while, and I was like, what and who did I make mixed CDs for most growing up? And I decided it was for cruising with my friends in my Camaro.
Yes.
So without further ado, here is my cruising list.
Okay.
Barbie Girl, the MXPX version. And technically, I don't think this was actually MXPX that covered it, but it was one of those ways where you illegally downloaded it, and anything that was like a pop punk cover was always like, oh, MXPX did this. So that's what we thought. Hey Ya by Outkast. No Diggity, Blackstreet.
I like the way you work it.
It's all coming back to me now. Celine Dion. I put this in there because I know everybody will give you a weird face, but oddly, everyone knows the lyrics.
You know what's funny? True. I read that, and then I read what he wrote, and my brain went, there were days when the sun was so cool, that all my tears turned to dust, and I just knew my eyes were drying out forever for it.
Months ago when she said that she could not sing, and then she's over
dang you, Chris Rhodes.
Yes.
And then I had to go listen to Celine Dion's greatest hits.
Slinging out bangers here.
Yes.
Okay, I can't sing. It's fine.
We're gonna have an album though.
Yes.
But you can't sing your
I can't sing.
Defying Gravity by the Wicked Cast. So the song wasn't out yet, but I would definitely have had it on my list if it were out when I was in high school. Whole New World by the Aladdin
True
Cast.
Story. We've jammed out to that in this car before.
Yeah.
Wannabe, the Spice Girls. Buddy Holly, Weezer. Hands Down, Dashboard Confessional. Scar Tissue, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Ignition Remix, R. Kelly.
Yep.
I Believe in a Thing Called Love by the Darkness.
That one almost made my list too.
That's another great one. Oh no, Nappy Roots. Featuring Marcus All My Life, Casey and JoJo, and then Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
That one's gonna have to be on our album too because Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, just because it has to be.
Oh man.
Yes. So. Hunter Batten said, sat by the radio all night, every night for a week, trying to get that perfect start and end to Celine Dion's.
A while ago. Keep
he
going.
did, yeah. He gave us a list in there too. To end the Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On" for my 7th grade girlfriend.
Oh, come on. Okay. December 63, Oh What a Night. Yes. I think that's by Frankie Valli. And the Four Tops? Anyway.
The Four Tops, 4 seasons.
Toto, Africa, obviously.
One of my favorite songs.
Elton John, I guess that's why they call it the blues. Yeah. Absolutely.
Very nice.
And then the last thing we have is Elizabeth Price said the best mixtape could be made on December 30th and 31st because the radio station would play the top 100 songs of the year. That's right. I would have that tape ready and break my neck for running to the radio to record a good song.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that explains and tops off the whole mixtape better than anything. Is back in a time when mixtapes were first created, when you literally just had to sit by a radio and wait.
Yeah.
And to know the fact of knowing that on December 30th, 31st, they played the top 100 songs.
Yeah.
So you literally could sit there and get your favorite songs all on one mixtape and waiting for that. I don't know if you've never done that before. I feel like not necessarily that in itself, but today's time, make a playlist for somebody.
Yeah.
I would encourage people to do that. Like, think of somebody you care about. Not necessarily doesn't have to be a lover or anything. It's just be a friend or just family member. It could be anybody, but have them make a playlist for you and be like, make me a playlist of just your songs that you feel like represent you well.
Yeah.
And I want to make one for you. It's simple now. You don't have to burn anything. You don't have to legally download anything.
I kind of made that playlist for you guys. I mean, I also made it for me because I was feeling down.
It was really nice.
But then I shared it with you guys because I thought you guys would also really appreciate it. So.
Cool. Well, appreciate everyone jumping in on the social medias this week. We have anything else we want to add or jump into the end?
I think so.
All right, cool. Before we jump to the end, I didn't talk to these two about this, but I want to give a shout out to a group called To Write Love on Her Arms.
Yep.
Today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and some stats for you. 800,000 people die by suicide each year. It claims more lives than war, murder, and natural disasters combined. They are rallying supporters across the country and the globe to amplify conversation about suicide prevention and take action to reverse the growing rate of suicide. Together we can help people see that there is so much worth living for. So if you know someone who is struggling with depression, anxiety, or suicidal thoughts, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 800-273-8255. You can also text TWLOHA to 741-741. As someone who has utilized that in the past, I highly recommend it. Do not go another day without talking to someone about what's going on. So.
Yes.
Not to I don't know. It's a company or organization that I've supported for a very long time in my life. And it's cool because it's good, heartfelt people that are behind it for a good reason behind it. They did their first ever go back and read the whole story behind them. There's a movie too. The movie's not as great, but it's not bad. But the first time they made shirts to sell to help a friend be able to afford to go to get help herself, they were selling them, and they sold them at this festival. The first festival they ever went to was Cornerstone in 2006. I played that festival in the Cornerstone of 2006 in Illinois, and it was awesome to meet them. I'd seen little things on social media leading up to it, but it was really awesome to meet the people in person, especially in such a beginning stage where they were just trying to help a friend and get word out there that, you know, this was a real subject that people often put under the rug and didn't talk about. Mm-hmm. And me as a person, you know, and I know we all share some of the same things, and but dealing with depression and anxiety and like cutting in high school and some other and older ages, another thing too. It was something for me where finally somebody was speaking about these things that I dealt with, where for a long time nobody did, and still even now it sometimes is the taboo topic that we just won't talk about. And we'd rather people just, we'll get help and leave it at that instead of really caring for people.
Yeah.
And I feel like that sometimes, like I fail at helping as best I can. But these companies, you know, not even companies, the organization is one that very much means what they say, and they stand behind fully what it is, and it's not just some big gimmick to make money. So I totally support them. I've had since 2006 and will continue to do so. So definitely check them out, you know, and if, you know, maybe you don't struggle with these things, you know, learn and make yourself more aware, because even just by looking at the facts, somebody in the room with you does. So.
Yes. And also keep in mind that hotlines are there for you to have someone to talk to, not just when you're in crisis.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people think, well, I'm not that bad. I don't need to call the hotline. Or, you know, there are people worse off than me. I don't need to call the hotline. If you want to talk to someone just about where you are in life, you do not have to be necessarily struggling or to the point where you feel like you might harm yourself. You just need to reach out, and you don't have anyone in your life that you feel comfortable reaching out to. That's what a hotline is for. Don't wait until you feel like you need the hotline. Absolutely. I think people misunderstand
That's
hotlines.
True.
They're there if you just want to talk. And you know, I've called a hotline before. I think that it's important, and those people are there for you if you need to reach out. There's also a lot of apps nowadays. I know some people aren't comfortable even talking to someone, or much less trying to put their struggles or emotions or feelings out there via the phone or face-to-face. There are a lot of apps now, and there are a lot of hotlines that offer texting. So if you don't feel comfortable saying something to someone, you can Google a lot of options that will give you the opportunity to text someone and reach out that way. So, Eric, if you could give that hotline number again.
I will. Let me pull it up. The crisis text line, text TWLOHA to 741-741. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 800-273-8255. Definitely call that number or text the other number if you need someone to talk to. So I highly recommend it. All right, so I just wanted to throw that out there. And I thank y'all for jumping in as well. A big thank you to Ricky Lyles, who, did he contribute to this episode? He kicked
us out.
He kicked us out, yeah. So,
he would never.
Big thank you to Ricky Lyles for all his contributions to our podcast. We hope that you enjoyed our discussion on mixtape songs as much as we did. I mean, we clearly had some highs and lows, but we had a good time talking about it. And that you're as pumped for the rest of this journey of the pop culture as we are next week. Oh my goodness, if you fumble the football, I'm going to break my foot off into your John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile. We're doing Remember the Titans, my favorite movie of all time. Woo!
Which means I actually have to watch Remember the
Titans. It's on Disney Plus. Don't cancel your subscription yet. So until next time, stay as cool as the other side of the pillow. And we will see you next week on the What the What Show.
What the What?
Bye.